Hey folks, so I'm going to start doing some weekly videos for you guys, just to keep in touch really, give you an overview of where the program's headed, talk more about the prescription, more about maybe like each week I'll be diving into a bit about a specific part of the training that I'm building for you. So you've got an understanding, and over time, hopefully it will help educate you and deepen your knowledge about how we can move better and how we can manage our time in the gym and focus on our training to get the most out of it. For you guys, this program is aimed at people who are super busy, who aren't competing in some ridiculous competition, who aren't looking to push their bodies to the very, very limit. All right. I've designed both the Revitalize and the Build track of training. So there's two tracks of training in the Fortify prescription. I've built them both around people who really need to get their training done in around an hour or less. And I've built it around people where training isn't the main focus of their lives, and it's to help you thrive, not survive. I want to build you up, not break you down. All right, it sounds really corny, but I like those little catchphrases because they do sum up what the Fortify prescription is all about. And there just isn't many programs out there doing that. So at the moment, we're squatting twice a week, or some sort of knee flexion movement, and deadlifting once a week, which is more of a hip hinge movement. And I've used big compound movements, especially in the build track, because we get so much bang for our buck from them. Now we've got 2 weeks of this cycle left. We're coming into week 5, and then we've got week 6, and then things will just change slightly. And so the new cycle, it's not going to be a massive new ridiculous stimulus. It's going to be more of a changing in the structure, because one thing is people do need variance, and I understand that. In reality, we could stick with the cycle we're on, and most of you could keep progressing within the gym for another 6, 12, maybe 18 weeks. Depends what stage of your journey you're at. Someone who's very, very new to training, and so far there's no one in the program who's brand new to training really. Everyone's done something. But if you're very new to training, you're going to be able to progress with just doing back squats every day or every other day for a long time. But the stronger you get, the more effort you can put into those back squats, and the more they take out of your body and you need to recover. So I guess this is more of a general overview of this video, an introduction to these videos. Next 2 weeks, we just keep doing what we're doing. You are in the groove of the programming. You kind of have got an idea of what's coming up each week. And so you should by now have worked out, how does this fit into your schedule? All right. Now, one thing I do want to say today is, if you're consistently finding that maybe you can only get 3 sessions done a week, or consistently you're finding that the sessions just overrun a little bit for you, start adapting it. So maybe you can only get 3 sessions in a week. Pick 2 sessions that you do every single week, and then the other 2 just rotate. And that way you're getting a good balance, and you're getting a little taste of everything in the programming. For me, if I was doing that, I'd pick the back squat day and the deadlift day as absolutes, and I'd do them opposite ends of the week, maybe Tuesday and Friday. And then the third session that I was going to do, I'd just rotate between those other 2 sessions. So I get a good spread of what I'm doing. And the training is designed to help create a balanced person in terms of physicality. And so you get all of that. If I was finding that I could get 4 sessions in easy, but I was struggling with the time, and actually I needed a little bit less time in the gym, just each session, pick one of the lower end movements. So I always start with what's the priority. So A will always be a high priority movement, and you'll notice that's normally the squat, the deadlift, some sort of big upper pushing or upper pulling movement. That's because that's our priority. All right, we get the most bang for our buck from those big movements, and then the smaller, more finite movements will come towards the end. So A, B, C, D. Maybe you miss out C and D, and you just do A, B, do a good quality warm up, good quality warm down. Maybe there's a conditioning piece. And maybe twice a week you don't do the conditioning piece, twice a week you do the conditioning piece, and you do you can straight into the conditioning piece. So just starting to try and find it so it's balanced across the board. If you're finding that there's a part of the training session that you really don't enjoy, what I'd say is, if it's maybe the conditioning pieces, each week you really struggle with the conditioning pieces, or maybe each week you really struggle with the resistance training pieces. People have their own things that they prefer. And for me, I'm lucky, I really enjoy resistance, and I really enjoy the conditioning. But since I've been more on a training journey around health, I've found the conditioning harder to get done for whatever reason. A lot of neuroscience is showing now that there is so much benefit to us prioritizing and doing things that we don't really want to do. Okay, so with something like the conditioning, make it a priority, and you can do it first. All right, don't get bogged down in the weeds of, oh, I've got to do my strength first, otherwise my conditioning will ruin my gains. We're not here to get massive. We're not here to deadlift 4 times our body weight or anything ridiculous. Okay, we're here to stay healthy and fit, and to do that you do need a balance between resistance and cardiovascular training. So finding ways to get that done and then reward yourself with the resistance. Okay, great person to talk about this is Andrew Huberman. I put a post about him on Instagram the other day, and some of the stuff he's talking about with dopamine. And I think in our modern world, we are just like, we can have whatever we want when we want it in the Western world, pretty much for most of us. We can get that iPhone next day delivery. We can just sit down and scroll through so much choice on Netflix. We don't have to wait for anything anymore. And that can really affect your psychology around things like training. And I find it affects me. I have to work very hard to have discipline and ownership over what I'm doing. So have discipline and have ownership. That doesn't mean you need to live a life of stoicism, but with your training, make getting good balance in a priority. Hope this video is helpful. I'm going to try and do them each week. Can't promise it'll be perfect. Let's see how my technophobia works out with that. I'm envisaging spending hours uploading videos, but hopefully it'll be easier than that. Come at me with any feedback, keep in touch, let me know how you're thinking about the programming, and please do spread the word as well. Anytime you put anything on Instagram or anything like that, tag me. I'm going to set up a Fortify prescription page, so you'll be able to tag that. And I really appreciate you being bought into the process. I appreciate your trust. And please do keep giving me the feedback. That's the most important thing. Thank you.